Evening, everybody. Welcome to Friday Philosophy. I'm Dr. Dan Lyons, up here in God's country, Green Bay, Wisconsin. I have to say that just to remind all my Chicago friends where it's really at, being up here. Today, we're going to talk about the philosophy of health and life. I know I have some people, I get bugs flying around here, probably from Chicago. I have some people ask me, why do I always talk about philosophy, and why am I always teaching philosophy? Why is it so important to me? And philosophy is important because it teaches you how to think, as opposed to the media and everything today, which teaches you what they want you to think. We don't have much news these days. We have a lot of opinion. We have a lot of slant. Hey, Mike, thanks for watching. And it's important to understand the underpinnings of your beliefs, because we have all had beliefs that we held dearly and later false. And if your philosophy is accurate, then you do not have those issues. You don't ever find out that you were wrong on certain things. All of us, if you have little kids in a room, you might want to mute this. They might believe that there's a certain jolly guy that shows up once a year delivering presents. And I know I was kind of distraught when I found out that that wasn't true. And so Eduardo, Randy, Ma Elena, thanks for watching. And so that's why it's important to understand what you're believing, what's driving those beliefs. And so when you consider the human condition, that you got several trillion cells in your body that all came from two half cells that came together, and that one cell kept dividing and dividing and dividing, and all of a sudden a bunch of cells on one end said, hey man, we want to be the nervous system, and they fold in on themselves like this, and that's the earliest sign of an organ. That's your nervous system. And you want to be your heart, and some cells, hey, we want to be the eyes, and the cells that were late to the game, they drew the last spoon. Those are the cells that got to be the little pinky toe. But they all came from that same one cell. There's a vast difference in the amount of intelligence that is needed to control and run the body, as in the brain cell, versus just to sit on the end of the foot as a pinky toe. But that same amount of intelligence that created them all is still present there. And if you understand that, and you understand that your body is self-healing and self-regulating, when you get a cut, it's not the Band-Aid or the stitch or the bacitracin or the antibiotic that you take and put on that heals you. It's that your body knows how to do that. There's a little to form a clot, there's a cascade of events that's got to go on. There's about 10 steps in that, if I recall correctly. None of us, not a human being on the planet, can consciously make that happen. Not a one. But it happens to pretty much everybody, unless you have a disease called hemophilia. And it's not that their body doesn't know how, it's just that there's a problem somewhere in their development of those 400 trillion cells. They can't make a clotting factor. But that cut healing, it's done from inside. Your body has all the things it needs to fight itself. And so you have an immune system that has many different parts in your body that come together, all controlled by your brain and nervous system, to fight off bacteria and diseases. And early on in this pandemic, I did a video, and I warned people that if you're a germaphobe, you probably want to stop listening now. And so I'm saying that again. If you're a germaphobe, stop listening now. Or maybe you should listen, but there were some Korean scientists that went out and did some research, and they found that in a 1 cubic meter of air, there is somewhere between 1.6 million and 40 million, that's 40 million viruses. And there's about 860,000 to 1.1 million bacteria in that same cubic meter of air. And it's about in 100 minutes, you will consume that cubic meter of air. And so in your first year of life, you consume, on the conservative side, if we're assuming that there's just 1.6 million viruses in that cubic meter of air, you consume 840 billion 960 million different viruses. And when the Korean scientists did that research, they found that, hey Keith, hey Jenny, Brandon, Garrett, Fernanda, thanks for watching. So when the Korean scientists did that research, they found that half of those viruses that they found, we human race had never seen those things before. Never seen them before. Totally new. And when you're a baby, you've never seen a virus, period, until you make it out of the womb. But from your first breath, you're inhaling viruses and bacteria. And most of the time you're in a hospital, which is the most germ-laden place on the planet, because everybody that's sick goes to the hospital. So it's usually the best place to catch something. Not knocking on hospitals, just stating commonly known things. So in 1 year, you have consumed just shy of 1 trillion viruses. So I'm 53. So we'll say I've consumed 50 trillion viruses. We'll knock off 3 trillion, even though it isn't that much for the rounding error. That's what we do. It's the price of living is that there's going to be some struggles, there's going to be some good times, there's going to be some hard times, and we are all going to die. No one wants to. And there's that old poem about the dash between the years. You got the year you were born, the year you die in, and the dash in between is really what matters. And what we see now is a ton of fear and a ton of arguing and anger that really shouldn't happen. We need to stop with the fear, get grounded, and invest in ourselves. You know, if it's a great time. If you are unhealthy, then you are probably someone that's susceptible. So you can complain about people not wearing masks. You can complain about people not locking down while you're eating that, giant chili cheese donut, drinking a bottle of scotch, smoking 3 packs of cigarettes. Or you can invest in yourself and start becoming healthy, because what we've seen is that really healthy people, there are always exceptions, and I said this before and I'll say it again, no healthy person has ever died. Not a one. It's impossible. You may have departed health very rapidly at the end. You fall off, a perfectly healthy person working on top of a skyscraper slips off. He's healthy all the way till he hits the ground, and then very suddenly he departs health. And it's the same thing. Just because we look fit, there's lots of people that look fit that aren't healthy. I'm older, so I remember Hank Gathers, who was the best college basketball player in the world in the late 80s, and he died in practice. He had a heart defect. He looked, no one knew it when he played, but all of a sudden when his heart had no more, he was done. Len Bias, was a great basketball player, drafted by the Celtics, loved the Celtics, and he celebrated with some cocaine. Lots of people use cocaine, but he had a heart issue, and his heart didn't like that, and that was the end right there. He was not healthy. Jim Fixx, who's the godfather of modern running, died of a big heart attack. There's a lot of people walking around that look healthy, and so we make an assumption that they're healthy, but they're really not. And we've seen it in the news. I've seen early on they talked about a family that was very healthy, and all these people in this family in New Jersey died. And when you saw the picture, I mean, they were all significantly overweight. And when you look at the top 5 health issues that make you susceptible to not only this virus, but probably every virus. But since this is the only one that they're talking about right now, and that's why, since the talking heads are talking about it, that's why everyone else is talking about it. But because of that, it is high blood pressure, obesity, diabetes, morbid obesity, and coronary artery disease. Those are the top 5. And for pretty much everybody on the planet, those are preventable. There are a few people that are born or develop diabetes very early on as a child that unfortunately can't do that. They got dealt a bad hand of cards, and that is very sad. But everybody else, we all can lose weight. We all can clean up our diet if that's what you need to do to clean out those coronary artery disease. Blood pressure goes right along with those. Some people, it's smoking that contributes to that. We all have our issues. Oh, yeah. Hi, Jill. Yes. I met this guy. The guy gave me this beer shirt. He's from Colorado. And I met him when we were up in Door County 2 years ago with my cousin. It's a nice shirt. It's Egyptian cotton. Love it. Love it. Anyway, we have to start investing in ourselves and become resilient, because we are all vulnerable, but not everybody is resilient. There's always something that is going to be our weak spot, and we are all like a superhero. And Superman, it's kryptonite, and what was the Green Lantern? He couldn't deal with yellow. Everybody's got their issue, and if you are one of the people that has an issue that can't be changed, then yes, by all means, you need to be smart and isolate yourself and find a way to stay around it. But we need to look at this for what it is. Turn off the TV, turn off the insanity. If we didn't watch the news right now, no one would be screaming about this pandemic right now. What we should be doing, instead of arguing amongst the masks and no masks and such, is becoming healthier. And there are 4 essentials to health. 4. I can't count. I've been in a seminar for 12 hours, 2 days straight. I got 2 more days left, and so I'm a little tired here. And then we were up talking till about 1 last night. So there are 4 essentials to health. Everybody has to eat, everybody has to drink, everybody has to breathe. And the quality of the food you eat, the water you drink, and the air you breathe will have an impact. You are what you are. We used to say you are what you eat, but it's what you absorb. Your body is made up of what you put in it. So put high quality things in it and you get better. But most importantly, your nervous system has to run everything. You can live without food for a month. You can live without water for a week. You can live without air for about 4 or 5 minutes. But when you're brain dead, you're dead. There's no coming back from that. And so that's why chiropractic is so important, because it helps you stay functional. It helps your core. We all hear about core fitness. Your core is your spine, your pelvis, and then the muscles in your pelvic floor, your abs, and the ones that stabilize your spine. That's your core. But without a nerve telling a muscle what to do, a muscle doesn't do anything. With the exception of the heart, which has an internal pacemaker, your organs don't really do things if they're not connected to nerves. They don't do it well. You can get a liver transplant, you can get a lung transplant. Lung is a passive organ. It's your diaphragm, which is a muscle that's run by your nervous system that breathes. And you have a liver that is a passive filter, but it's an active organ too, and it'll run a little bit by your hormones, but not the way it should without the nervous system. The nervous system is holds primacy. It is number one in your body and what you do. And if you don't take care of your spine and you get spinal degeneration, you get herniated disc, degenerated disc, you get bone spurs, you get stenosis, your quality of life goes down in a hurry. Think of a nursing home. The only people that, sit up straight and stand up straight and walk around and are enjoying life in a nursing home, the only ones with posture like ours are visiting and working. Residents, think of what they look like. They're all hunched over, lean over, poor life, hand in hand, healthy spine, healthy life, all other things being equal. So please take some time to reflect on this. Shoot me questions. I love answering them. Hey, Kathy, good to see you. Hi, Cousin Aaron. And so invest in yourself. Become resilient, become strong, become powerful, become a force for good in your sphere of influence. All right? I love you all. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next Friday.